People who were adept in programming invented the internet, and people continue to optimize it for various reasons. As a result, the internet has grown naturally. The internet can do a lot, but it also has certain drawbacks. Graduate students and researchers who know and trust each other built the email system. Because the authentication procedure was not originally incorporated into this system, using email necessitates confidence between senders and receivers. Email authentication is a method of demonstrating that an email has not been falsified. In other words, it allows you to confirm that an email is from the sender it purports to be. Email authentication is frequently used to prevent dangerous or fraudulent email activities like phishing and spam. In practice, we refer to the technological standards that enable this verification as email authentication. Because there was no suspicion between them at the time, and there was no authentication mechanism integrated into the system, the email system didn't consider security at first.
This simulation shows what you might see if you are orbiting a black hole. The light and position of background stars around the hole are distorted by its gravity, and they seem to spin around. On the right, the constellation Orion appears to approach the event horizon, the boundary from which nothing can escape. Orion's stars look like they become separated and get spun around. Once the hole has passed by, Orion reappears on the left and looks normal again. Users can also experiment with different scenarios. This is what you might see if you were traveling towards a black hole with rocket engines slowing your descent. Another simulation mimics free fall into a hole. In the middle, the light of the entire universe appears to be concentrated in a bright ring.
Plastic is lightweight, malleable, durable, but it has also become so widespread that it's ending up in a lot of unwanted places, including our own bodies. That's according to a new study which found that humans are consuming a shocking amount of so-called microplastics.
Microplastics, the kind of current working definition, is plastic less than 5 millimeters. So people commonly equate that to something like a grain of rice or a sesame seed and down in terms of size class. I will say that most of the microplastics that people are interacting with are quite a bit smaller than the sesame seed size, which I think always kind of shocks people when we start talking about the numbers, because they kind of can't, they can't see a lot of these things, at least with the naked eye.
Kieran Cox, a PhD candidate in marine biology at the University of Victoria in Canada, and one of the authors of the study, which is in the journal Environmental Science and Technology.
Babies as young as a year and a half old see someone else being treated unfairly. They expect the leader, the parent, or the caregiver in that situation to step in and do something about it.
Babies evaluate others constantly.
Renee Bayarjon is a psychologist at the University of Illinois. She led the research on babies expecting fairness.
When these transgressions occur, babies evaluate parents and other leaders and say, well, you saw this transgression. You know this is not fair. Are you going to do something about it? If you don't, then you are shirking your responsibilities, and it makes you less of a leader, less of a parent.
That's right. Babies are judging you. Bayarjon says it seems babies are born with these expectations of what a leader is and how they should behave. The work is in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences.
What she was interested in was marine mammals, things like seals, and she found 3 places in the oceans which were hotspots, and what these had in common was that these hotspots were all located at boundaries between ocean currents, and this seems to be the sort of place that has lots of the plankton that some of these species feed on. So now people who want to protect the species that are endangered need to get as much information as possible. For example, there's an international project called the Census of Marine Life.
So how was this reflected in the design of the building? Well, Harrison decided to create pedestrian access to the building and to make use of the presence of water on the site. As people approach the entrance, they therefore have to cross over a bridge. He wanted to give people a feeling of suspense as they see the building first from a distance and then close up, and the initial impression he wanted to create from the shape of the building as a whole was that of a box.
We can gain an accurate knowledge of the past only if we know the age of the different sources being investigated. Without this information, historians and archaeologists could not be sure of the order in which different areas were settled, used and abandoned. They would not always be sure if a particular object was real or forgery.
Testing one's drinking water can be intimidating to a household well owner, but it can be easy if you know a few basic steps, says the National Groundwater Association (NGWA). If you are concerned about your well water, these 3 steps can help get owners the appropriate tests for contaminants that might present a health risk, or create taste, odor, or appearance problems. 1. Determine what you should test for in your water. 2. Obtain a reliable water test. 3. Get an interpretation of your test results so you can take any appropriate action. NGWA recommends that well owners test annually for bacteria, nitrate, and anything of local concern, for instance, naturally occurring hazards, such as arsenic, or man-made, such as chemical or heavy metals from industrial or waste sites. Most county health departments do some water testing, and many well owners are within a reasonable distance of a drinking water testing lab. Both are good places to start in finding out whether there might be a local issue.
If you're like most parents, you remember sending your kindergartner off to school with a backpack bigger than they were. While your child may be able to shoulder it, students are now weighed down more than ever by these cumbersome packs. Which is why, say experts, more kids than ever before are complaining about back and neck pain. With school starting up again, a likely reason for the complaints is the heavy load they're carrying, and we're not talking about classes, with everything from textbooks to laptops to musical instruments crammed inside. Consider this. The Federal Consumer Product Safety Commission calculated that carrying a 12-pound backpack to and from school and lifting it 10 times a day for an entire school year puts a cumulative load on youngsters' bodies of 21,600 pounds, the New York Times reported, or the equivalent of 6 mid-sized cars.
Detecting symptoms of Alzheimer's disease as early as possible can be critical to provide appropriate care and avoid potentially dangerous situations, and family and friends can play a vital role in recognizing and calling attention to these changes in behavior, especially for older adults who live alone. While celebrating with loved ones this holiday season, Home Instead Senior Care encourages everyone to become more familiar with the symptoms of Alzheimer's, to be more aware so that critical warning signs are not overlooked. Although many are aware that Alzheimer's disease affects a person's memory, there are several other lesser-known indicators that commonly go unnoticed, such as notable changes in mood or personality, difficulty completing familiar tasks, trouble pronouncing words or writing, and increased anxiety.
Let's see what's happening on the seabed. Okay. So these really remarkable features are known as black smokers. Don't forget, we're now 2.5 kilometers down. The light. It's all pitch black. What we're seeing is the lights from the submersible. So imagine you're looking at this out from your porthole and it supports.
So, just a few weeks ago, excavators of the remote archaeological site in southeastern Asia reported an exciting find under the ground. They found evidence of a writing system which dates back thousands of years. 3 blocks of flat rock with odd symbols which look like ancient forms of writing were discovered. Well, this find could reveal much about an advanced, independent urban culture which historians believe may have lived in that area. However, many scholars are skeptical about the authenticity of the blocks, which they suspect underscore
Beware of a spoon stuck in your tires? Well, yes. According to a new national survey of auto service professionals, this common kitchen utensil is a potential hazard, albeit one of the more unusual ones, likely to damage your tires if you're not careful about your surroundings. The 4 tires on your car are the only thing connecting your vehicle to the road, and they also affect everything from handling to braking, playing a critical role in your safety. Given their part in keeping you safe on the road, it's worth taking the time to take care of your tires, especially when there are so many potential hazards to look out for. Some of which, like a spoon, may surprise you. Beware of a spoon stuck in your tires? Well, yes. According to a new national survey of auto service professionals, this common kitchen utensil is a potential hazard, albeit one of the more unusual ones, likely to damage your tires if you're not careful about your surroundings.
The 4 tires on your car are the only thing connecting your vehicle to the road, and they also affect everything from handling to braking, playing a critical role in your safety. Given their part in keeping you safe on the road, it's worth taking the time to take care of your tires, especially when there are so many potential hazards to look out for. Some of which, like a spoon, may surprise you. Many people have problems with irony both in their everyday lives and as it is used or deployed in literature. We learn early on at school about dramatic irony, that is, we are told, when the audience of a play is aware of some situation or circumstances or has information that one or more characters in the play do not. If you like, you are sharing a secret with the writer, you are in the know. Perhaps, as you go about your daily business, the irony is not so clear-cut. Here's an example. Your neighbor draws your attention to how lovely the dandelions and daisies growing in your lawn are. Many people have problems with irony both in their everyday lives and as it is used or deployed in literature. We learn early on at school about dramatic irony, that is, we are told, when the audience of a play is aware of some situation or circumstances or has information that one or more characters in the play do not. If you like, you are sharing a secret with the writer, you are in the know. Perhaps, as you go about your daily business, the irony is not so clear-cut. Here's an example. Your neighbor draws your attention to how lovely the dandelions and daisies growing in your lawn are.
The ability to work with fellow students cannot be stressed enough. The ability to work with fellow students cannot be stressed enough.
If you need any assistance, please get help from the general office. If you need any assistance, please get help from the general office.
Many businesses near the campus offer students discounts. Many businesses near the campus offer students discounts.
If you like our video, kindly subscribe our channel and also press the below bell icon. Thank you.